Greetings everyone, welcome back to another random mini review. A video in a series in which I try and review a product under 10 minutes, but given the nature of my videos running longer than half an hour 99.9% of the time, we'll just see how we go for this one. This is a very spontaneous review. I wasn't actually planning on reviewing this item, but I just thought it was fascinating and I just wanted to show everyone this tiny, oddball little camera thing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the Mono Reflexes shaped mini camera CMOS indoor home outdoor 1080p portable vintage very small mini camera video recorder. Currently this is on AliExpress for $25.28 with no memory card, but I actually purchased this off Temu for $39 Australian, so I'll display a currency conversion chart for how much it was on AliExpress and also how much it was on Temu. So this gives you a bit of an idea with Temu as well, that they do put their prices up for some items. Most of the items are pretty much cheap, but if you go onto AliExpress, you're likely to find them cheaper. But what makes this thing so special? It can take pictures and it can video. Just can video. Battery life 60 minutes, 8 special effects, creative filters, and you can see the one feature that made me want to purchase this. It has a screen, a tiny little one. Newly upgraded HD camera, 0.96 inch HD screen, an almost 1 inch HD screen. That makes sense. 1080p HD video, clearly record people and things. 1080p high definition, high performance. They didn't put CMOS, they put comms photoreceptor, intelligent image quality optimization system, clear capture, more colorful picture display. Now with it only offering 60 minutes of long lasting battery life, the battery capacity is only 180 milliamp hours. They couldn't really do too much with a tiny little device like this, but I'll be able to explain to you how long it did last in my camera test. And lastly, the 0.96 inch HD screen can be observed in real time, quickly and accurately capture objects, bid farewell to blurry images, let photography be handy. And with that, that's all of the advertising for the tiny little 25 Australian dollar mini camera tiny thing. As most of you know now, I'm really obsessed with miniature versions of things. So like, I got a mini spring, not that the spring's in here, it's in the other room. Mini DHL box here with a little shipping label inside of it. I showed this in a video once. But mini things are just cool, and especially mini technology. I just find that sort of stuff so fascinating. And thus, here we have Mini DV with the 0.96 inch display and 100 minutes long endurance. Didn't it say 60 minutes beforehand? That's okay. So we've got a guy just laughing along there, just having a good old time with photos of the camera. And around the side, we've got the photos that were in the advertising. On the back, we've got the relevant parameters. 2 million pixels, so should be a 2 megapixel camera that films in 1920 by 1080 in AVI format, 30 FPS, 90-degree view angle. The picture format is JPEG at 3760 by 2128. We'll see about that. 200 milliamp hour battery. It goes 180 milliamp hours, then 200 milliamp hours, and then recording time about 2 to 3 hours. When it says 60 minutes, I'm confused. Memory use, charging time. Actually, this charged very quickly because it's only got a 200 milliamp hour battery in it. I think I left it for about 10 minutes and it was full already. Micro SD card up to 128 gigabytes, obviously supports a number of operating systems because it's plug and play, but it's got Windows 11 on here, so you should be good. USB is 1.1 as well as USB 2.0. At the bottom is the brand of this, Owlife mini camera, model Y300, and sure enough, the manufacturer and the address is in China. Of course it is. And that's basically it around the box. So I have taken this out and had a quick look at it and put a memory card in it just to make sure it all works. But I haven't actually unboxed this properly because I wanted to save it for the review. So inside of the box, we get the tiny little camera, which we'll come back to. We get a lanyard, a micro USB cable. We get a keychain. If you want to attach it to your keys, you absolutely can. And we have some instructions. Okay, so the instructions for the HD camera. Switch on off. All right, good. Camera, indicator light, pattern filter, mode key, what's a lultugs, and a hanging rope buckle. Fair enough then. And turn it on and turn it off. The first step is to insert the TF card, press the boot key for 3 seconds, turn on the display screen and boot into photo standby mode, press the boot key for 3 seconds to shut down. Take pictures in the state of figure 1, click the switch button to complete a photo shoot. For mirror photography, click the filter mode key to select figure 2, the desired background, and press the switch key to complete the photo and save. This is making no sense whatsoever. I'm pretty sure that I've understood what this thing can do. It can only do 3 things: photo mode, video mode, and playback mode. That's it. And then on the back, the specifications, which the battery capacity's gone down another 20 milliamp hours. And then we do have some instructions like do not place them on the bed, under pillows, or where children can reach them during charging. Waterproof. The product doesn't have waterproof performance. Please keep it dry. If the camera watering, please contact the manufacturer for maintenance. Thank you for buying and using it. No problems at all. Alright, I think we get a good idea of what's going on with this thing. I think we just guess. But the tiny little camera is right here. It's adorable. I have reviewed a mini camera in the past. I'll link that video here if you haven't seen that. I don't know when that was, but it was a while ago. But at the front, we've got 1920 by 1080 just printed on the tiny little DSLR looking body there. Now you'd think this is a flash, but it's not. It's just a light to tell you that the camera's on. That's all it does. Then we've got a tiny little microphone just there, a little place for the lanyard. At the top, a power button, doubling as a shutter key. Then we've got the function modes to switch it from photo to video and all that sort of stuff. At the bottom, we've got a micro USB port, as well as the micro SD card slot, which I've put in a gig micro SD card in there. And finally, at the back is the tiny little 0.96 inch display. It's just adorable. It's in a bit of a weird aspect ratio, but I have a feeling they may have borrowed this display off like a cheapo smartwatch and just plonked it in there possibly. There is a tiny little protective film on there. There looks like there's some dust in there. Yeah, there is. By default, there is some dust inside of the unit. Well, since I'll be tearing it down, I can clean that out. And the little protective piece on the lens just there. I guess I can also tell you how much it weighs as well. With a micro SD card in it, it weighs a total of 17.5 grams. I'd highly recommend not giving this to an infant because this will end up in their mouth most likely. This is more of a novelty for tech-savvy folks and people who like photography. This is a cool little keychain. I mean, you can give this to your kids if you wanted to. If they don't have a mobile phone, they can use this and take photos of all different things. I mean, it'd work perfectly fine for that. Here's a micro SD card with the camera next to it, and the micro SD card against the screen there gives you a good idea of just how tiny this thing is, but it's cheap, so I'm not expecting the greatest performance out of this. Powering it on, just holding the top button, reveals our little camera, and that's it. And I did try to see if there was a settings mode. Unfortunately, there's nothing. I've tried to hold the keys in different combinations, but no, unfortunately, it is stuck how it is. In photo mode, if you press down, it cycles through all the filters that you can choose, which I will demonstrate some of them off for you. Once you go back to normal, then you can press up to go into video mode. And with video mode, you cannot do any effects. It is just stuck how it is. So the video test is going to be fairly basic. And then finally, if you press up one more time, you get to playback mode, and then you can press down to showcase me taking some of the photos that I've taken with this while testing. That is all that this little camera can do in terms of the user interface. As I said, there's no settings menu, there's nothing to change in here. It is just power on, take photos, take videos, and that's it. And if I go for a close-up on the display, you can count the pixels. That's a pretty low-res screen, even though it said it's an HD screen. But look, for a tiny little thing like this, the display is going to be perfectly fine if you just want to take a photo of something. At least it's better than those tiny cameras that don't have a display on them and you're just guessing where you're pointing. Also, before I started this review, I did charge this up completely and it's already down to 3 bars. So with the battery in this thing, I have a feeling I'm going to be taking a few photos and it will just die, but I will check battery life when I'm doing the camera test. And there's the LED as well at the front. So it goes red when you're charging it and it stays blue when you're recording. But as I said, it is not a flash. It is charging. You can't even see the red LED. You can barely see it, but it's working. So the question is, for a $25 cheapo little tiny camera with a tiny little display, I think I've said tiny a lot during this video, how is the camera performance? Well, let me go ahead and do some test photos and videos, and I'll splice them in, take a look at them, we'll go over the camera quality, and talk about if this thing is worth purchasing or not. Testing video recording on the world's tiniest camera with a screen. It's so adorable and the battery is draining super fast, so let's get this over and done with. So there's Froggo 1, there's Froggo 2, and there's Froggo 3. We've got no autofocus or anything, it is just fixed. Oh, Froggo 4, I forgot about him. And, well, I mean, it looks okay on the tiny little display. I hope it's 1080p. If not, it'll be probably interpolated most likely, which is not too surprising for these devices. They usually do VGA and then interpolate up to some ridiculous amount, but I don't know, it could be 1080p, I'm not too sure. But it's looking smooth for the most part anyways, from what I can see on this little tiny display. Tic-tac of a thing. It looks vibrant. It looks okay. Looks aren't everything though. And the faraway icon is a little bit something like that. I can't zoom in obviously. How does the camera quality look, Rip? Good? Or bad? What do you think? No? Not sure? How long do you think this camera will last battery-wise? I tried to do selfies with this, but because I can't see the screen, I just had to take a guess, and most of the shots, well, didn't turn out good because I don't know where I'm supposed to be aiming. The camera lens also looks like it's pointed downwards, so like it's kind of like if I'd done that, you'd be able to see what's going on, kind of. I tried my hardest to get some good footage with this thing, but I've reviewed the photos, and I'm gonna say, they're not bad. I thought they'd be utter garbage, but they're not too bad at all. For something of this size, reasonable quality. Not the best, but it's reasonable. Cheapo camera, what do you expect? But I hope you all enjoyed the wonderful quality with this. What more could I say? So, you've just seen the photos and videos that I took with the tiniest camera with a screen. And I actually googled, and supposedly this is a Japanese camera that was introduced on the 7th of July 2023, and that's called the MiniCa. So I'm not sure if this is a rip-off of that, or if it's its own thing. But I just found a random website that mentioned that, and the camera they're talking about matches this one, so not too sure. Before I go over the camera quality of this thing, I decided to do a battery test with this. And what I did was put it down on my desk, pressed record, and waited to see how long I could record video for until the battery drained. So this records in 5-minute loops, so once it gets to 5 minutes, it resets again to 0 and then starts again. It doesn't stop video recording, it's like a dash cam pretty much. And it lasted 28 minutes from being fully charged to completely dead. So the advertised standby is a bit incorrect with the 60 minutes. If you were taking just photos, you might be able to get an hour's worth of just solidly taking photos, but I highly doubt that though. At the end of the day, this is just a really cool novelty, so I can't expect too much, but I just thought I'd give the battery a shot, just from what it claimed anyways. But the quality of the photos and videos. Supposedly the sensor on this is around an 8 megapixel sensor, but looking back at the photos, they turned out pretty terrible. Very, very washed out. No autofocus or anything. It is just fixed. So some things sometimes look really blurry and then sometimes some things look really clear. According to the specifications in the listing, this is a 2 megapixel sensor anyways. So I have a feeling that it's a 2 megapixel sensor that's interpolating up to the weird resolution of 3760 by 2128, which would almost match about 8 megapixels. The photos look decent on the tiny display, but looking at them in their full detailed quality, it's looking very much like a 2 megapixel camera that interpolates. And video wise, we got 1080p out of this, but the quality is pretty terrible for 1080p. Of course, I mean, I'm not expecting this to be absolutely crystal clear, but even though the footage was at 30 FPS, it was just very, very choppy. And once again, the colors were very washed out, very blurry and shaky in some areas. If you're only viewing it on the display, it looks amazing. Looking in full details, you can really see it is hit or miss. It is a cool little novelty though, to have this on your keychain and be like, yeah, it actually has a screen on it and you can take photos and stuff. It's a cool little novelty, yes, but for realistic uses, it's basically useless. And the filters as well, they were just sort of regular filters, nothing too spectacular there, but I can safely say this was fun for about 5 minutes and then it was kind of boring. And now I've made like a 20-minute video rambling on about this thing. Altogether, for $25 on AliExpress, if you're into tiny little tech and you want a tiny little display like this just to go, oh, how cute, it's worth it, you know? And you can go ahead and do photography and stuff, but just don't expect this thing to last more than about 20 minutes of video recording before you'll need to charge this. Unless you want to have it connected into a power bank the whole time time, then you can go on a holiday to, I don't know, Siberia and take this with you and capture all your favorite moments on this tiny little thing. You won't want to do that. So yeah, that's basically everything that I have to say about this camera and its very, very limited feature set. But what I want to do now is tear it apart and see the innards of this thing. It's not going to be that complicated. How does one tear Tic Tac apart? I know I started the video saying this was a random mini review. It still is a random mini review, but it's gone over 10 minutes. I'm sorry. But it's still a video at the end of the day, so all hope is not lost, I guess. Okay, here we go. Here is Tic Tac. It's adorable. It's also very strange looking, but okay. So we have the 2 buttons there. Then we just have the camera mounted on a bit of foam. Oh, that's good, but that's on the verge of being 2 megapixels to 3.2 megapixels maybe, but it's definitely interpolating, that's for sure. And lifting back the battery, don't think there's anything written on there. I don't think that's even 180 milliamp hours. I would say that might be 100 milliamp hours. Possibly in that tiny little battery there, but I can't see any markings on there or anything. It could be under this adhesive, but I kind of doubt that. There it is. That is the little display. Isn't it just adorable? Pretty sure that it's reused off a smartwatch or something. We do have a code there for it. It was made in 2023. There you go. Not sure what the resolution would be. It wouldn't be too spectacular, but it works. It says it's a Y3000 on the board, but on the box says Y300. It's close enough. But the chips inside of it, what have we got in here? So we've got a, oh, I don't even know what that says. PU something or other. I'm not too sure what that says. During editing, I'll look that up and see what that actually corresponds with. But we have another one just here, which could be the main processor, flash memory, all that sort of stuff integrated onto there. And I'm not even sure what that says. Trying to look at the viewfinder to see if I can see what it says, and I can see GP something. That's about it with that one. So I will have to do some Googling to see what those chips do come up with. Come on, it's pretty impressive that all of this is stuck in this tiny little itty bitty frame. It's just adorable. I can also clean the factory dust out too. Well, that's everything that I needed to see inside of this little thing. So I'll just go ahead and put it back together, and I think we can call this a review, I think. Let me just make sure it still works. Oh, I damaged the LCD. How did I do that? Oh no, it's fine. Hang on, it's recovering. Yeah, no boot up now. I've just put everything back into the casing. I'm gonna see if it works now. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. Don't know what was going on. It just wouldn't boot up for some reason, but it's all good now. There we go. It's back together. I didn't destroy it. I'm proud of myself. That is the complete review of the world's smallest camera with a screen done. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was nothing too exciting, but as I said, I like miniature tech items, and when I seen this, I just thought that'd be cool to have, and thought, well, why don't I just do a review on it? Show everyone the world's smallest camera that has a screen. It's just cute if you do own a DSLR and you just have this thing next to it. It's just like, oh, how cute. I don't know how many times I've said cute, tiny, small, and adorable throughout this video. If you want to count them all, let me know down in the comments below. But otherwise, we're done with this one. Oh, it didn't bounce all the way. Sorry. I hope you all did enjoy this one. I'll leave timestamps in the description below, so you can skip straight to the photos and videos that I took with this thing if you wanted to. But if you didn't use timestamps and made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for sticking around and watching through this review of a cheapo item from me, which is nothing unusual, but I hope you got a kick out of this one. And I'm sorry it's not a very entertaining video this week. I had to go to the dentist twice this week, so I decided to just take it a little bit easy for this week, but hopefully next week things will start to pick up again and I will be all good to do some uploads and all that sort of good stuff. Otherwise, everyone, let me know what you thought of this thing down in the comments below. If you think it's a cool novelty or a waste of money, it's always interesting what you folks have to say about it. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And as always, please take care, stay safe, be good people, and I'll see you all in the next one, which I might be taking a look at another game console or a tiny little mobile phone. Either one of the two will be the next video. So until I work out what I'm doing, take care, and I'll see you all then. If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.